Today is February 13th, 2018, and the meeting is called to order at 6:02. Will the city clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Hodges?
Here.
Commissioner Oakley?
Here.
Commissioner Lister?
Here.
Vice Mayor Douther?
Present.
Mayor Black?
Present. Commissioner Lister, will you please lead us in the invocation and pledge?
I will, Madam Mayor. Thank you very much. Join me in prayer, please. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we seek blessings on the task before us. Bless our efforts with clear insight and our deliberations with wisdom, our work with clarity and accuracy, and our decisions with impartiality. We pray that our work this evening will find favor in your sight. It's always in you, we pray. Amen. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, I just want to let everyone know that our new city manager is here with us this evening. I'm sure many of you got to meet with him last night. We had a great reception. His official first day will be the 26th of March. I said that before, of February. And I'm just looking forward to working with him and bringing great things to Madeira Beach. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes for the 11/14/2000.
I so move, Madam Mayor.
A second. Any comments from the commissioner or staff? City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Oakley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Douther?
Yes.
Mayor Black?
Yes. Next, we have the approval of the agenda. I have a motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda and with the taking off of the fee and collection procedure manual. I just have too many questions about things inside the manual. Plus, there's not. If Madeira Way is going to continue, there needs to be something a provision in there for Madeira Way. But I still had a lot of other questions regarding it. So I'd like to see it put back on the next workshop.
Where is that?
Commissioner Oakley, what are we taking on?
I'm sorry?
What are we taking on?
The fee schedule.
Oh, it's under new business.
Yeah, B under new business.
B.
Okay. So you want to table that?
You're taking it, B?
No, I want to put it on the workshop, or next workshop.
Okay.
To review again. There is a lot of questions in it.
Okay.
I'll second.
Any comments from the staff or the commission? Will City Clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Oakley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Douther?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Mayor Black?
Yes. Next, we have presentations and proclamations. The first item is a proclamation for Multiple Myeloma Action Month, March 2018. A woman came to me and asked if we would do this proclamation. She said she has a son who's 48 years old and who was diagnosed in 2013 with multiple myeloma, which is a blood cancer of the bone marrow. And she's a member of the Tampa St. Petersburg Multiple Myeloma Education Group, and just wanted my help in passing this proclamation to bring awareness to people who have this disease, because early detection will help them live a lot longer. And the proclamation reads, whereas multiple myeloma, the second most common blood cancer worldwide, is a cancer of plasma cells in the bone marrow. is called multiple because the cancer can occur at multiple sites. And whereas multiple myeloma currently affects more than 100,000 people in the United States, with additional 20,000 new cases diagnosed each year, and 10,000 losing their battle each year. And whereas once a disease of the elderly is now being found in increasing numbers in people under 65. And whereas because multiple myeloma is a rare disease that can be a delayed diagnosis leading to delayed treatment. For this reason, an increased awareness of multiple myeloma for clinicians and the general public will lead to earlier diagnosis, allowing people to live longer. And whereas continued investment in innovation is critical to achieve early diagnosis and implement the most effective and safest treatments for multiple myeloma patients. And whereas, although we have seen important advances in the last decade, there's still no cure for multiple myeloma. And thus the city of Madeira Beach is committed to finding a cure for multiple myeloma and supports the treatment of its citizens that suffer from multiple myeloma and encourages private efforts to enhance research funding and education programs. And now, therefore, I, Maggie Black, Mayor of the City of Madeira Beach, do hereby proclaim March 2018 Multiple Myeloma Action Month in Madeira Beach, Florida, and encourage all residents to join me in participating in voluntary activities to support multiple myeloma education and the funding of research programs to find a cure. Next, we have a resolution of offshore drilling and exploration activities, including seismic airgun blasting. City Clerk?
Okay. A resolution to express the City of Madeira Beach's opposition to offshore oil drilling and exploration activities, including seismic airgun blasting. Whereas the United States government has expressed interest in opening the Atlantic Ocean and eastern Gulf of Mexico to offshore oil and gas development and exploration, including risky methods such as seismic airgun blasting, and whereas seismic air guns fire intense blast of compressed air, one of the loudest man-made sounds in the ocean, every 10 to 12 seconds for days, weeks, and months on end, and whereas seismic air gun noise has been shown to harm and injure dolphins, whales, endangered sea turtles, fish, and other marine life, and whereas exploratory and commercial drilling, extraction, and transportation of offshore oil and gas resources pose a significant risk of an oil spills and chronic leakage, and whereas eventual offshore drilling may require significant onshore infrastructure such as pipelines or refineries, which would harm the character of the coast, and whereas offshore drilling activities pose threats to treasured vacation destination on Florida coast, which are of intrinsic economic value for numerous industries, provide essential nursery habitats for recreational and commercially important fisheries, and act as natural buffers from storm surge and hurricanes. And whereas the City of Madeira Beach recognizes that the tourism and fishing industries, which depend on a healthy and vibrant coastal environment, both serve as major economic drivers benefiting the current and future residents, property owners, and visitors to Florida. And whereas the City of Madeira Beach endeavors to be a good steward of the state and region's environment and its resources, and whereas exploration and development of oil and gas resources off the coast of Florida will not effectively address the long-term energy needs of our country, and whereas the City of Madeira Beach recommends that it would be more economically and ecologically responsible to pursue non-polluting sources of renewable energy such as solar and wind that pose less risk to the coastal environment and economic health before using uncertain methods of seismic air gun blasting for offshore oil and gas deposits. Now therefore be it resolved by the City of Madeira Beach that offshore oil and gas drilling and exploration, including seismic air gun blasting, will put Florida's environment, beaches, marine resources, and local economies at risk. Therefore, the Council expresses its opposition to these activities and urges the federal government not to pursue such practices off Florida's coast. The Clerk's Office shall forward a copy of this resolution to the Governor, U.S. Senators, U.S. Representative, State Senator, State Representatives, U.S. Interior Secretary Ryan Zink, U.S. Commercial Secretary Wilbur Ross, and any other interested parties.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, we have the Rotary presentation. Is there anyone here from the Rotary to make that presentation? All right.
Madam Mayor, I think that was supposed to be pulled off the agenda.
Oh, okay.
My apologies.
Next, we have a presentation by George Buck, candidate for the U.S. House of Representatives, Florida's 13th District. Mr. Buck.
Thank you for the honor of allowing me to speak to the...
Can you pick up the hand mic and turn it on, please? Sometimes.
Thank you.
Turn it on.
It is on.
Puts it on.
Okay. Thank you for the honor to allow me to speak to the city of Madeira Beach. It holds a special place. As the chief knows, my son started his firefighting career here in Madeira Beach. Raised to the rank of lieutenant on the fire department, and then he decided to move on, and now he's a captain of his own station in the state of Texas, where he was born and raised. So, Chief, great seeing you again this evening. A little bit about me. I'm running for the U.S. House of Representatives as a Republican. I'm so far running unopposed. We only have about a month and a half left, and so nobody has stepped up. My background is I'm a disabled veteran of the 101st Airborne Division. I was in during the First Persian Gulf War. My job in the military was an air rescue firefighter. And when I came out of the service, I continued my career. I retired as a firefighter from the Dallas area. I was injured in the line of duty as a firefighter, so apparently I'm very clumsy. And I started, while I was working on duty, I obtained 4 college degrees because we worked 1 day on, 2 days off. I'm not bragging, I'm just stating the facts. So God works in mysterious ways. I was injured in the line of duty. As I was working on my dissertation, then I had to retire as medical, so I became a college professor. I ran the fire science program here at SPC, started the first emergency management degree program at SPC in the state of Florida. I had written my first book, which I never thought I could ever do in my entire life, and that was called Preparing for Terrorism, Chemical and Explosive Terrorism. Congressman Young found out. He offered me $3 million, not me, but the SPC. We started the National Terrorism Preparedness Institute, still running today, and this whole concept is designed to help first responders respond to the threat of terrorism. I've written 5 other books, all on fire service, responding, biological terrorism, those type of avenues. So then I went to USF, and I was given more money by Congressman Young, and I set up the Center for Biological Terrorism Defense, and I also worked in the Center for Disaster Management. Recently, I've decided to run for the U.S. House of Representatives because I really honestly don't like what's going on up there. Not only with Congress being dysfunctional, but for Pinellas County, and also what's going on for our first responders. There's a lot of lip service, and I deal with a lot of them. I've worked every major disaster in the last 15 years. I've been to 46 countries. Banda Aceh after the tsunami, 9/11, Hurricane Katrina. So enough about me. I'm just going to say real briefly that I have 3 promises. One promise is I won't make any promises I can't deliver. Second is, as a disabled veteran, I received my care at Bay Pines. I'm going to continue that as a veteran, not as a congressman. And third is I'm going to move the St. Pete office, because there's going to be 3 congressional offices here in Pinellas County, to the campus of the Bay Pines. Because a lot of times we have veterans who have complaints and problems, and your vice mayor is kind enough to volunteer for the Disabled American Veterans, and then they're told when they have problems to go downtown to go talk to your congressman. I'm bringing it to the veterans. So that's the 3 things that I'm going to promise. And it's going to be a long, hard road, and so far I'm going to try to make a difference because I have an urge to serve, and that's all I've ever done my entire life. And one thing I would like to present the community of Madeira Beach and the chief is one of the books that I was asked to write a chapter in, which is The Firefighter. You can purchase this at Barnes & Noble. And this came about after 9/11, where the Fallen Firefighters Foundation put this book together, asked firefighters and personnel of the fire service to contribute chapters or 2. I had the honor of writing 2 chapters in this, and since Madeira Beach has taken that extra step to put a memorial to never forget at the entrance of your community, I would like to make this a part of your remembrance and never forget 9/11. Thank you, and once again, it's an honor, and it was an honor to speak to the residents of Madeira Beach. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would you like to present it to the fire chief? Thank you again. Next, we have the dais log review.
I want to apologize. I'm going to take my jacket off. It's hot in here. I'm burning up.
It's either hot or cold.
Madam Mayor, we have a change in the log here was brought to us by Commissioner Oakley, wanted us to look at and review, and have a chance. I just received this packet myself, but the item that should be on your agenda there as far as the comprehensive plan. And they basically, I think that what they're looking for is to have this go back in front of the review board to have it reviewed again.
I just wanted the Planning and Zoning Board to review what was happening in those ordinances, 2014, 7, 8, and 9, and a developer's agreement. And I wanted them to understand and know what was going on in those, so they did find out what they think. So.
Is that something we vote on, or is that just okay?
It just goes.
Okay, very good. Okay.
Steve Kochick, 15301 2nd Street East, Madeira Beach. Is there expected for the planning board to take any action on that, or are they supposed to just read it? Are you asking for them to vote on it? Are you asking to accept it, deny it, give recommendations? This seems like, for one, this came out of nowhere. This wasn't on any agenda. All of a sudden, at the last minute, just before the meeting, this comes up. I had heard about this, some people talking about it last night amongst themselves, and I was trying to get information all day long about what this was about. Once again, you bring something that seems very important up at the last minute where the public doesn't know about it, nobody knows about it. It's all kind of eerie. We got a new city manager coming in. This is how things work. You would expect him, did he know about it? You know what I'm saying? Try to keep it in the light so at least it looks legitimate. So if you could just answer the question, are you expecting something on it, or are you just doing this for their knowledge and you don't want any response back from them? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Robert Preston, 425 South Bay Shore Drive. I've been coming to these meetings a long time. This is the first time I've seen a DIAS log review. And to me, it really seems like you're not being very transparent. And if you really wanted people to have input, it would have been on an agenda. But this is a way you can get it in and not have people show up. That's the way I see it. And you're not being very transparent about what you're doing. Thank you.
Nick Newberry, 311 BOC Drive. I also, as somebody who owns a home, boat. How's it going, guys? Nick Newberry. 311 Boca Ciega Drive. Also, as a resident, I wanted to express my deep concern over this. You know, I own a house, boat, business in town, and I can't believe something to do with a project where it's several $100 million wasn't even worth mentioning last night, and that nobody could get any information about it today. That seems like the exact opposite of transparency, especially because I too have been coming to these meetings for years, and I understand that you have found an obscure law in the books called the Dias Log, but the fact that it's never really been used until now is, I mean, obviously you can use it, it's just deeply unsettling that you did it in a way to where nobody but the people calling the vote would do it. So, and I think if you look at the lack of attendance here, if more people understood exactly what you were planning to do in these shadows, I think there would be a far greater turnout here. So I'm very concerned, and I also would wonder if there was talk about this in emails that was also not done out in the sunshine. So, thank you. Hello?
Is that working? There we go. Mayor, Commissioners, Bill Carnes, 19424 Gulf Boulevard. I'm, first I have heard some chatter around town about this coming up. I certainly don't understand why the Madeira Beach Town Center project would be getting sent back to planning and zoning. We have signed development agreement. We spent a year and a half through litigation from residents suing the city. We have an estoppel certificate that was signed by the city. I'm just confused as to why the Madeira Beach Town Center development would be going back to the commission, the planning and zoning. That's all I've got to say. It's seems like it puts the city in grave jeopardy. I'm very surprised. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hi, everyone. Oops. Bill? Hello? Yes, hi. My name's Kevin Bowden. I'm Bill's partner over at the Madeira Town Center. Yeah, I'd like to ask Nancy Oakley, who seems to be the, I'd like to ask Nancy Oakley, who seems to be the person that put this up at the last second, why Madeira Beach Town Center is being singled out to have its project go back before planning.
Point of order, Madam Mayor, you can't ask specific commissioner.
Well, we were told earlier that she was the one that requested this, so.
The point is that this is not a question and answer, it's simply
Okay.
comment.
Okay. As Bill said, we have signed a development agreement with the city. At great expense, we settled the lawsuit that was against the city. And now we've gone forward and planned the project as the smaller project that we agreed to do. And now at the last minute, it seems like something's coming up again. It just doesn't seem fair. Thank you.
9 Harbor Drive. I kind of agree with these people, surprisingly. Now, one thing I don't agree with them, the Dias log has been something that has been used in the past. I think was actually introduced by the previous city manager. It was something, was very common to have something put in the Dias log which wasn't really in the agenda. So, but something of this importance, it's kind of surprised. I don't even know what it is. So for me not to know what it is, because I kind of try to follow this as much as I possibly can and not to have any idea about what this is about, is kind of disturbing.
Anyone else? Yes.
My name is Debbie Weinstein, 441 129th Avenue. I haven't heard anything about it either, but I don't know what is ever the problem in reviewing anything before, during, or after the project to make sure that everything is right. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, going forward, the floor is now open for public comment on anything that is on, that is not on the agenda, and just please remember to be.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, can I speak on the last Dias log review?
Certainly.
Do you mind? Again, I was also blindsided by this. I didn't get any heads up on this either. And it might have been my efforts that, you know, I get things on this Dias when I get to the meetings before, and I've asked that something goes on. So maybe that's the reason that it's in black and white today. But just because it's in black and white doesn't mean it's any more important. The Planning Commission has no authority over this board. I mean, they can come up and give us any kind of recommendations they want. They can look at anything they want, but they don't have any authority over this board. We can vote the way we want. And if I'm not correct, wasn't the agreement signed by the city already? Didn't we have a mediation on that? Is that not a done deal? Are we beating a dead horse here?
Yeah, it's my understanding that there was a development agreement.
Right.
There was a mediation. There were restrictive covenants filed for both the two developments. Right. We have a copy of one. We're trying to track down the other copy. Those things are approved and can't be changed.
Okay, they're approved and can't be changed. So Nancy, I'll ask you, why are you making us do extra work here? I mean, was this your ideal? Yes, it was your ideal. Why? Really, it's a done deal. This development is done. I don't know what you want the Planning Commission to tell you. And what do you want to hear?
I want them to review it.
It's been reviewed. It's been reviewed for 1.5 years. It's done.
Nice.
Madam Mayor signed it. We mediated it. It's over.
No, 2006 and 7, or 17 and 15, 14. No, 16 and 17, I believe are. This is 14.
Sorry?
I'm talking about 14.
Again, the Planning Commission can't do anything to change it. That's all I'm saying. And again, I've been here 10 years. It's my first Dias review on my agenda. First one.
Floor is now open for public comment, as I said, for anything that's not on the agenda.
Is it working? Okay. Thank you very much. Jason Delacruz, Don's Dock, 215 Boardwalk Place. So my challenge is way simpler than all of these. We've been trying to get a fence permit to install a fence down at the dock to protect ourselves at night, protect our activities, because there's so many people down there. And we've kind of fallen into a weird loophole. There is no fence ordinance for C2, zoning C2, which is the dock, which is the commercial zoning. But there is a residential fence ordinance. And the problem is we can't really find a clean area to put our fence relative to no ordinance. And I was hoping that you guys would take a stand on this so that simply I could put a fence up for lack of a better phrase. So we applied for the permit in April. The permit came back. We needed to have a survey. I paid Dual another couple $1,000s to do that, so I'm about $6 or $7 grand into the fence, which isn't, you know, a monstrous amount, but it's enough to a small business like mine that we can't seem to get a fence out. And my real worry is that this all started because of, it kind of came to my attention that I was at a significant liability of risk of, you know, somebody got injured at night. And now I'm kind of getting in a weird gray area now that I'm trying to get the fence, but I can't get the fence. So who's liable if something happens at night there on my property? You know, does the city take any liability? And I'm certainly not trying to mention that. I'm just like, just let me get a fence. So it's as simple as that, legitimately. And right now, your zoning section that deals with these issues is having a hard time clearing up where they should go because, to be honest, they're a little gun shy because of the turmoil. And so I'm hoping that you guys can give them some direction and go, because that was supposed to be on the agenda, at least that was what I was told, and it got removed. So that was why I was here to speak about it. So I figured under other business I would bring it up. Thank you very much for any consideration.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the commission, staff, and members of the public. My name is Jonathan Evans, and I am so excited to serve in the capacity of city manager here in Madeira Beach. I'm very enthusiastic about the opportunity. Have met with the wonderful staff here, have talked to a lot of the residents that have pulled me aside to wish me good luck and say they'll pray for me and those types of things. So certainly I'm so appreciative of the opportunity, and I want you to know that I look forward to working for you, working with you to move this agency forward, that we are a team, and teamwork makes the dream work. And when I look at this community, I see a lot of great things that we have going for us. You know, people save up for weeks on end to come spend a little bit of time with us. So we live in absolute paradise. The staff is phenomenal, and rest assured that I'm committed to public service, transparency, ethics, and integrity, all the things that are core tenets of my professional association. So I look forward to sitting down with each and every one of you, getting your perspective, and making sure that we work collectively together as a team and supporting staff so they can be successful. So I'm excited. I can't wait to get here, and looking forward to working with you and starting this journey together. So thank you again for your time and your attention, and most importantly, your support, and looking forward to meeting with some of the residents. And I did tell them last night if they would like to stop by and bring any baked goods, those are always welcome at City Hall. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Steve Kochick, 15301 2nd Street, East Madeira Beach. I asked our new city manager to please stay up here for the reason that I'd like to introduce him to the 9/11 memorial that we have. This was something that I think is the one thing in Madeira Beach that there is no one who's opposed to, that supports. We have one of the bright shining things, not only in the city, but in the county and probably the state of Florida. When you get in and your feet get settled, we'd like to take you over there. There are 2 other citizens that we're not part of any committee or anything. We just have taken it upon ourselves from day one to watch over the memorial and ensure that the message of the memorial comes through to the public. And it would be our honor if you would come over one day. And here's a brochure, and then when you come over, we'll fully explain what everything is. And welcome to Madeira Beach, and when you do your budget, always have a little place in your heart for us. Thank you.
Robert Preston, 425 South Bay Shore. Madeira Beach. I know that you probably all are aware that the second round of the petitions went through. The signatures were affirmed. The bar is set pretty low for the reason for malfeasance. And it was committed here at this dais. So I would suggest saving yourselves money and the city money by taking a deep thought and sitting back, thinking about what you're doing, and then resign. It would be for the best of the city together. One of the things I was quite interested in when I was doing the petitions, and I know some of the others that were out on their feet door to door, is that almost everyone that needed a permit, had a permit, or was looking for an inspection, who approved of what we were doing and would like to sign, but wouldn't because of fear of retribution from this commission. That's pretty sad. And that isn't just residents. It had to do with contractors, and it had to do with businesses as well, business owners. So you do the city a favor and step down. There's a couple other things that I'd like to mention is Kelly Higgins and Concerned Citizen 33708. I can read it too. So either yourselves or one of your surrogates.
I'm sorry, 3 minutes is up. No, it's not. Oh, it's not.
He's got 30 seconds.
Okay.
No.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought the audience was saying it was 3 minutes. Go ahead.
There's a clock behind you.
I know.
So this Kelly Higgins or Concerned Citizen 33708 does not have the guts to put their name to their comments or their letters that they're sticking all over doors and cars. I'm not afraid to pin my name to what I say. And your surrogates should not be afraid to do the same. And there's 4 of you up here that are probably really in tune to that. 3 are commissioners and 1 is a finance director. Thank you.
In the back. And you'll be next, sir.
Oh, there we go. Stephen Barrett, 11975 3rd Street East, Treasure Island. January 23rd, 2018, Board of Commission Workshop. November 28th, 2017, Special Budget Meeting. October 24th, 2017, Board of Commission Workshop. September 26th, 2017, Board of Commission Workshop. September 5th, 2017, Budget Workshop. June 27th, 2017, not sure what the meeting was, but those are the 6 meetings Commissioner Lister has missed in the past 7 months to date. Why is he running for re-election? That's 6 times more meetings than any one of you commissioners.
Madam Mayor, calling somebody out, he can't do that.
That's correct.
What? What did I do?
It's attacking a personal character. That's not allowed.
No, I'm stating fact.
Well,
This is fact, not fiction.
You were okay with when you stated the dates, but after that, you went too far.
Okay, this is a date that one of the commissioners up here have missed all the 6 meetings. 6 times more than the other 4, 25 times more than the rest of them. Why is he running for re-election? He didn't even interview any of the other city managers out of the 5 that you guys chose. That's pretty much it. Have a good one. I teed it up. All you got to do is hit it in the hole.
Hello. I'm Roger Pryor, 223 144th Avenue, Madeira Beach. Been here. Hello? Do I need to turn it on?
Yeah.
Hello? No? I think it's on. I got a green light. Hey, that makes a difference. Listen, there are elections in life. I've been elected to a few things before back when I was a younger guy.
Please face to the commission.
And I just want to remind people that elections have results. I think our commissioners and everyone was elected, almost 60%. I voted for Donald Trump. I sat my truck out here in the parking lot one day and somebody scratched my Trump sticker off the back. I'm not afraid to tell you who I vote for, okay? I don't think the other people are. If a guy comes up here and tells you people are afraid to sign, no, hell no. I signed and I will sign every time to support the right people. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? Yes. Right.
I guess it's still on. Steve Miller, 15329 Harbor Drive, Madeira Beach. I wasn't really going to get up. Well, I came here loaded to talk, but I wasn't going to talk because we seem to be having such an amicable meeting here. Then none of the really controversial things that are happening in the city were being brought up, and I was just going to kind of let it slide. But Mr. Preston had to get up and make his statement, so I think I'm going to try to make a statement on the other side. First, before I get into that, I'd like to welcome the new city manager. And I'm very encouraged by what I read about even his problems in Riviera Beach, because it demonstrates to me that he has some concept of ethics. Ethics is very important in public government. How we allowed our government to run for 5 or 6 years, completely unethically, at least 5 instances of our city manager, ex-city manager, operating his government in unethical ways. Now, maybe not all of them are determined to be legally unethical, but there's still some in the works, I think, and I'm looking forward to the results. Anyway, I have hope for our new city manager. As far as the recall, there was absolutely, positively no malfeasance. That by the legal definition of malfeasance, it isn't just a wishy-washy little thing that you don't like to people. It is actually something that is actually illegal, all right? And these people did nothing that's illegal. You don't recall people because you don't like them. The people that should have been recalled, or 2 of them are sitting up here now, because they supervised this entire unethical. They were aware of unethical things happening in the city government, and they did absolutely nothing about them. I can produce memos that I wrote to them that absolutely demonstrate that the previous city manager was operating unethically, and they were never responded to. They never did anything. They never did anything. Okay. I think I'll just leave it at that. There was no malfeasance. He didn't even give you time to do anything, to be malfeasant. He only did it, you were only in 2 months, 3 months before he was already, Mr. Preston was already threatening the recall. It's idiotic.
Good evening. Okay. I'm Marilyn Halfling, 806 Bay Point Drive, and I've lived in Madeira Beach going on 38 years now. And this is about the 3rd or 4th really upsetting time. But I can never remember anything like the past 6 months or so, with people running around town saying all kinds of awful things to my neighbors about the 3 people, or specifically 2 of the 3 people, who came into office, voted in in March, and then didn't get sworn in until April, which is something that needs to be fixed. I am hoping, I did meet the new city manager last evening, and I'm really very hopeful that we will be able to pick up and start fixing a lot of the things that have been falling by the wayside this last year. We've had, I'm really sorry to hear somebody's gone a whole year trying to get a fence approved for safety. Hopefully that will be fixed. On a positive note, I wanted everybody to put down May 19th as a date that perhaps here in Madeira Beach we could do a Hands Across the Sands consolidation with people across the world against oil drilling off our coasts. It would dovetail. That's coming up. It's been going on since the horrible BPW thing, and Mr. Lister did come out and lead a prayer the one time that I organized it on our beach. But hopefully we will do that again on May 19th this year. I just found out that they are doing it again. It's yearly. And the other thing I'm a little concerned about that I'd like to have fixed is I saw that the citywide garage sale is scheduled for March 2nd and 3rd, but I've seen no advertising for it, and it's a lot earlier than usual, and somebody needs to, if it's going to be March 3rd or 2nd and 3rd, we need to get that information out to people so that they can plan for this. Normally it's the 3rd week of March. I don't know why it's so early this year. But hopefully we will get through this election and we'll get on it and get started with a new city manager. Thank you all.
Anyone else? Yes.
Bill Gay, 425.
Can't hear you, Bill.
Talking to the mic.
Turn it on.
Excuse me. Bill Gay, 425 150th Avenue, Madeira Beach. I would like to request that the city post the ethics complaints that have been filed against several members of the prior administration here and some of the current members. These were ethics complaints that are under investigation and were held by the city attorney, who was ordered last year to divulge these complaints as public documents by the circuit court here in Pinellas County. These are complaints that were filed against Shane Crawford, Cheryl McGrady, Pat Shantz, Frank DeSantis, and perhaps others. I would like those to be posted on the city's website and made available to the public so people know what's going on and to restore transparency to this government. Thank you very much. I know I can't ask a question, but you know, I don't know if the city even has these documents at this point. But it would be good if somebody could confirm that the city has these documents in their possession. I suspect they would have been turned over by the former city attorney, Tom Trask, to the current city attorney. But the question is, why aren't they available if they aren't available, and when will they be available to the public? It's been nearly a year since the judge handed down his judgment. Thank you.
Anyone else? Last call. Public comment is now closed. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda.
I move this commission pass the consent agenda, Madam Mayor.
Second. Will City Clerk please call the roll? Yes.
I would like,
Well,
I have one question on it.
Which one you want to talk
It's consent
about?
agenda, you don't have discussion.
Well, I can have a discussion now.
Attorney?
You can talk about anything you want. What do you want to talk about?
I would like for Walt just to explain the debris removal for the recent hurricane, just so everybody's aware that how much it actually cost us to remove the debris.
Sure.
Well, thank you for approving that.
We received 6 additional invoices from Ashbrook. Just recently, we were able to put them on our FEMA grants portal for consideration. And prior to that, we received, in October, we had a cost of $44,961. So the total expense for the debris removal is $77,977. I don't know if that answers your question. I will tell you this, that we are done totaling the cost for the hurricane, and it is now right at $371,000.
And FEMA's reimbursing most of that?
Well, we also got word from, we have submitted some of this to our own insurance agency, which I think that we'll probably get, and I was talking to Karen about this morning, probably about $20,000. What we don't receive from our insurance company, we hope to get back from FEMA. We've submitted everything on the FEMA grants portal, and we're pretty confident that we'll get some of that back.
Okay, thank you. I had one other question on C in awarding the bid, and I know we approved this the last time, and I know this is why it's on there, but I just wanted everyone to know that it is totally, and Dave, you can speak to this probably, it's totally reimbursed by the state, and it's just a pass-through of, what was it, $1 million, 1.9 million, so.
Yes, ma'am, that is passed through to the Department of Transportation.
Right, and I'm sorry I didn't bring this up when we were doing the agenda, because I normally pull anything to do with money off of the consent, just so everybody knows how, but I know we already talked about it, but I just want to throw it out there again.
This one's been talked about a couple of times. So.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. National government.
All right. Did we get a second?
Nancy did.
Oh, that's right. Will the city clerk please call the roll?
Yes. Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Oakley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Douther?
Yes.
Mayor Black?
Yes. Next, under unfinished business, we have ordinance 2018-01. City Clerk?
Ordinance 2018-01, an ordinance of the Board of Commissioners for the City of Madeira Beach, Pinellas County, Florida, amending the budget for the fiscal year 2018, beginning October 1st, 2017, through September 30th, 2018, by appropriating funds for increasing the general fund budget and adopting a budget amendment.
And Madam Mayor and Commissioners, one more time, and this is the second reading for this, and this issue was just, this topic was just brought up. This is a pass-through. Part of this budget amendment is, it's twofold. One is the 1.9 for the joint agreement with the FDOT for the resurfacing, and the other one is a state or federal grant that we have for the firefighters, a firefighters grant. So the two of those total $1,960,313.
I make a motion that this commission pass ordinance 2018-01 on second and final reading.
I second.
Floor is now open for public comment on this item. Floor is now closed. Any more comments from commission or staff? Will the city clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Commissioner Oakley?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Douther?
Yes.
Mayor Black?
Yes. We have no contracts or agreements. Next, we have new business, rescheduling the Tuesday, March 13th, 2018 BOC meeting. City Clerk.
Yes. Because March the 13th is the city's election, and that's the same day we usually have it's the second Tuesday, which the regular meetings fall on. Because of the elections, it would need to be rescheduled to before the meeting, because in the charter it states that the new commissioners will be sworn in at the first meeting following the election. So if you have it immediately after the March the 13th meeting, we would have to swear in the new commissioners. So we would need to reschedule it to before the meeting.
Any suggestions? Could we do it the week before? Should we cancel it?
Two things on this. Number one, Carol, kind of like Marilyn brought up, she didn't understand why we're doing it, and then the people aren't sworn in until April, like we weren't. So I just want to make sure everybody out there understands that's because of our charter that we have to do this.
Right.
That's right.
And, that we have to move our March meeting up closer before the 13th. So my recommendation is we move it to the week before, and then.
So there's not a possibility of putting it the week after and swearing in the week after the 13th?
According to our charter, she's saying according to our charter, we can't do that. Is that correct?
I mean, you can move it to afterwards, but we would make that when we swear in the commissioner.
I don't think it's in our charter that we can't move it, is
I
it?
think it is. I think it says the next regularly
Next
scheduled.
Next regular schedule, they gotta be sworn.
So
I understand.
the
And our charter
regularly.
says the next meeting.
So you can't go, I want a special meeting to
I'm
do
with
it.
you.
It's regular.
Week before's fine, John.
Okay. So the week before works for everybody?
Works for me.
Is that Tuesday?
That'd be the
6
7th,
o'clock?
Yeah, probably the 7th, yeah.
March 7th. Oh, yeah, 6th. It's the 6th.
Okay.
6th, I'm not available, but I could figure something out unless, I'm available on the 7th, the Wednesday.
What works for everybody? Doesn't matter to me.
It's okay with me.
The 7th would be preferable for me, myself.
March is
Does any
fine,
item-
March 7th.
Is this something, Mr. City Attorney, we need to vote on, or just consensus?
You should vote on it.
Okay. Can
I make a motion that we move our March meeting to March 7th, Wednesday, March 7th.
And that'd be at the regular time, 6
Regular,
o'clock.
6 o'clock, yeah.
I have something on Wednesday, but I'll try to get it scheduled. I'm just saying I might not be here, so just want the guy to know I may not be here. Just saying.
Do I have a second?
I thought we already had a second, but if not, I'll second it.
Okay. Floor is now open for public comment on this item. Floor is now closed. Any comments from commissioner staff? Any further comments? City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Oakley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Douther?
Yes.
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Mayor Black?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next, we have Resolution 2018-01, Amendment to Fees Collection.
That's we canceled.
Oh, we canceled that one. Right. Next, we have authorizing the city clerk to appoint a deputy clerk to serve in the temporary absence or temporary disability of the city clerk. City clerk?
Yes, it's necessary that I appoint a deputy clerk so that she can use the seal and different things while I'm absent. And plus she's, works with me and does everything. I'm teaching her, and when I was interviewed, a couple of the commissioners had asked me to work with Andrea and so that she could get certified, get her CMC, and we've got her. She's joined the Clerks Association. There's two, FACC and IIMC, and she goes to her first training workshop in June. It'll take about 3 years to get that basic certification, but she's heading that way, and so I do need to appoint her as deputy clerk.
I think that's a good idea to do that. Any discussion from the board?
I don't have an issue with it.
Okay. This time I entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we allow the clerk to appoint a deputy clerk to serve in the temporary absence of the city clerk.
A second.
Second. The floor is open for public comment on this item. Floor is now closed. Any more discussion? City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Oakley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Douther?
Yes.
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges?
Yes.
Mayor Black?
Yes. Next, we have reports and correspondence. Any reports from the City Commission?
I'd just like to bring up a couple of things. Number one, as somebody brought up, I think the city needs to put it on the website, run the paper, whatever we need to do for this yard sale, garage sale, to get it out there. We've put it out there, so I think for the residents, we need to, put it on our website. We need to maybe have it run in the beacon, whatever we need to do.
Maybe blast email?
Yeah, whatever we need to do to get the information out there. Second thing I have is I'd like to thank all the residents that came for the different committee meetings, that took time out of their busy schedules to come, and thank the city attorney for the class he gave. I heard it was very good. I watched some of it on television. Only problem was, Mr. City Attorney, you kept walking away from the microphone, and I couldn't hear you. You would start, then you would walk.
My apologies. We were getting carried away there.
Apparently. But I'd like to thank everybody that did take time out of their schedule, and will be taking time out of their schedule in the future for the committees that we have set up, and hopefully will bring a lot to the city. So thank you very much.
I would like to bring one thing up.
Okay.
The Madeira Beach Block Party. It's, a lot of residents were upset with it. A lot of people were upset with the traffic that it caused. I've gotten several emails, several phone calls. A lot of people have talked to me about it. I didn't go down there. Your wife told me you all did. I don't know what your experience was other than through her.
It wasn't a pleasant experience. But I think, I thought that'd be part of the things we would talk about at the workshop and in the events and stuff like that.
I just want everybody to know that we recognize there's an issue there, and we do need to talk about it.
I've gotten several calls and a couple emails, and people even stopped me there, and they were not happy with it at all. I think the major thing was, first off, I didn't know a lot about it going into it, and then I walked up there, and I walked in at the south end, and I said, nope, got to walk all the way around the buildings, around the block to get in. So we walked around, and we came in, and they said, well, it's $25 to come in, and there was a fee schedule there of $25, $45, $75, $100, or $175 to go into the event. And people were complaining about that. They were complaining about the traffic jams that were being caused because of Madeira Way being shut off. So I think this is something we need to really sit down and talk about at a workshop and for future events on Madeira Way. To close it off for Madeira Way for a whole weekend, I think was not a very smart idea. So.
This thing next door, there were several people that called the sheriff's department, and I'm going to ask the sheriffs to give me a call log of how many, what do they call that number? The non-essential number, basically. And to get a count on how many calls were actually related to the event. There's people from Seminole that were complaining about it. I talked to Lacey, and Lacey had so many messages on her phone, she quit counting how many. The volunteers were telling me about people that came into City Hall and complained about the event from the Reddingtons. So we are going to look, I just want people to know we're going to look at this event and see how it really affects, if it's worth it or not, really.
We all got, I'm sure, a lot of calls and complaints about it. I got about a dozen or more. But I've also heard from people who really enjoyed the event and think it's a great idea. But the overwhelming thing I got was complaints.
That's all I have.
Okay. Anything else from the commission?
I have one more thing. There's a piece of paper that was here about spring fun in the city of Madeira Beach. On spring break, waterfront festival and carnival. partnering with the city of Madeira Beach. Once again, I think when we talk about at the workshop, the events and planning and stuff like that, because I don't know how this works, how we are partnering with different organizations to do these different events. So I just noticed that on this, that was on the, sitting up
Well,
here.
that's the co-sponsor thing that
Correct.
I put on the agenda.
That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Any more from the commission? Mr. City Attorney, anything? Interim City Manager.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I just have a couple items for you. Talking about the citywide garage sale, I'll get with Miranda first thing tomorrow to make sure that information gets out. She does a really good job with Facebook, nextdoor.com, and email blast, so we'll get all that information out to the public. The block party, I know that I personally called back or emailed probably to 20 to 30 people that had complaints about the situation. We are doing an after-action report, as we do with all major events of this type, to see what went right and what went wrong. So we will get that information to you as well. There in the city manager's office, there is 2 bound copies of the stewardship reports for Archibald Park and Causeway Park. Lacey LaFay did a fantastic job of putting all that information together, so those properties are secured for us for at least the next 2 years. So that's the good news for us. And last but not least, there are some changes coming down on our tax structures. So we will be asking Mike Twitty, had a meeting with him the other day, our Pinellas County property appraiser, to come in and give us an idea of what the possible impact will be to our city. So that'll be on one of the future workshop agendas for you. That's all, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. City Clerk, any reports or? Okay. And is anyone here from the committee who has any reports?
I have one more thing. Walt had put this on our desk, and I'd ask him to actually just say something about it, and it's the 25-cent increase and what, just so everybody knows, and we are going to put this on a workshop again because it's part of the fee schedule. But you know, you said you would like to get it out there now, and then people could have a time to digest it before it hit the workshop.
Okay, I gave additional information to the commission. One was a total of the parking revenue that we had received for the whole previous year, 2017. And the other document was requested by Commissioner Lister, which gave a 3-year snapshot of all the parking revenue, including parking fines and parking meter, which basically came up to, parking permits, basically came up to 6.2 million. And then the third page that I think you're referring to, in the fee schedule, we are recommending increasing the parking from $2 to $2.25 across the board. And I prepared this spreadsheet for you. And I know my predecessor Vince, at least a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, was trying to make the case to increase the parking. If we increase the parking to $2.25, and this spreadsheet shows you with some reduction that we might experience, we would get hopefully somewhere in the range of 107,800 on the low end to a possible 229,000. I think we would receive more of a moderate figure of 168,000, which when you take and multiply that by 5 years is a little over 842,000. Now, and our investment advisor did come to speak to the commission, one of the budget workshops that we had, because when I was first hired, the thing that I kept on hearing about was the debt on this city center and how we can pay that down. Our investment advisor indicated to the commission that that nothing can be done to pay this down until the call date of 2023, which is about 5 years away. So if we increase the parking another 25 cents, this can be put into a separate account over the next 5 years. And if it's in an investment stream, it can generate close to $1 million. And I thought it would be nice to show this to the commission on how we can, and actually it would also save me in preparing the next city manager's budget of allocating an allocation to go toward the reserve and trying to pay down the debt on this funding. So we can put this in a separate account over the next 5 years, and we can put it in an investment stream, and it can generate $1 million. I also took the extra step that if we increased it to 50 cents to $2.50, and I know a lot of people would object to that, that would generate over 5 years approximately $2 million.
Thank you.
I would like to say something. As I talked to Walt about this, when it first came up, we talked about it. And I told him basically the only way I could support this is if that money went into an account that he couldn't be touched for anything else but to pay down the debt. Until the debt was completely paid down, that money could not be touched. You know, so, and what it does is, you know, I know a lot of people don't like the parking meters going up a penny, let alone 25 cents. But it takes paying down the debt, a little bit of paying down the debt off the backs of the residents and puts it on the tourism, the tourists that come here. And I feel if somebody's going to John's Pass to have dinner or walk around, if they're there for 4 hours, I don't think they're going to mind paying an extra $1. So that's just kind of the way I look at it. Thank you.
Well, I think this is something we can continue discussing, and
It'll be on the fee schedule.
right.
On the fee schedule, we discuss that at the next workshop.
Because there's more to say about it all.
I just want to bring to your attention, the reason that I got 3 years of numbers is because, excuse me, you know, we've changed over to the parking machines several years ago, but we just changed over to a new parking machine just recently in December. And if you check those numbers in December and January of this year, those numbers are well lower than last year, December and January, and the year before that, December, January. So I'm saying that even if we decide to do the 25% increase, that's not even going to hit the numbers that we were already at, much less bring that $1 million over 5 years. So we need to get better signage. I don't know, I thought we were told the signage was going up by Cali last time, and I've seen no signs.
Just an update, we should get the new handhelds by Friday.
All right.
And once the new handhelds are received, then the signs will go up. It didn't make any sense to put the signs up if we didn't have the handhelds.
Again, Walter, we're at 84,000. The revenue's dropping. Last year, this month alone, 109,000. That's a substantial drop. 84,000, 109. Yeah, that's almost $30,000 that we lost in revenue this month alone from parking. And a lot of it is because those people are walking away.
No, a lot of it's because we have lots. We have lots that are being given to, what's Barefoot Beacher Board Resort is taking a whole lot. And then the construction on BOC took the one at 131st for almost a year.
It's out for the last 3 days. They're going to pour a curb.
Commissioner, all I can tell you is if they're walking away, there's people right in back of them to take their spot.
There is.
Again, Walter, I'm seeing a $30,000 drop in revenue, so something's not being done right.
Any more discussion? Board of Commission meeting is adjourned at 7:16.